Hello, my name is Liz Rowlinson. I'm here with Pomerol Legal Partners, and we are going to talk about how to buy a property in Spain and earn money. I'm going to introduce my two experts who will tell you all about who they are, what they do in Spain, and introduce the session. So good morning, Mar and Belén. How are you?
Good morning.
Hi.
So tell us about your company. What do you do?
Well, we do a lot of things, but we are allowed specializing in private international law, but with a very focus on real estate investment, visas, relocation, and international taxation. Because we love international legal matters, and that's why we offer this kind of solutions to our clients. So as we said in Pomerol Legal Partners, we fulfill solutions and we resolve problems.
Brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, but so our team of lawyers has a solid knowledge about and experience on legal complexity of international matters. And as we are specialized in international legal matters, we especially offer different products. The first one, as we began, is the real estate investment, because we offer a very comprehensive advice that begins with the due diligence of the property, checking that all is all right, what it means, legal issues, urbanism issues, and tax issues. And we renegotiate and we redact all the contracts, and then we sign, going with the client or maybe using a power of attorney. Another thing that Belén will say is about visa and relocation.
Yes, for those people who are interested in investing in Spain and probably moving to Spain, retire, leave, work, whatever, we have legal solutions for this, visas and everything that is aimed to relocation. And like people who ask for this process, this relocation process, also have doubts on tax. And so we offer as well this kind of counseling. And so people generally who have hired us all this time, they are now, they have now bought their properties in Spain, they live in Spain. And so generally what we say, the feedback is good for now. So yeah.
Yeah, our clients at the moment are very happy, so we want to continue in this way. And for sure, about international tax, it's a very special section because it's important. You know, a lot of clients want to save money. So we'll try to ensure compliance with tax law and regulations in different jurisdictions. So finally, our focus is to offer and optimize the tax situation of the client. And why? Because we offer a global vision about how to move in another country. Because I imagine, okay, we are from Barcelona in Spain, and we've got a lot of tourists, well, you know, because Barcelona is a very visited city. And we think, okay, imagine that you want to move to Barcelona, or well, in Madrid or Malaga, doesn't mind. It's like, okay, what I need to do? About tax. Tax is the first one, because it's like, okay, I want to live here, but I don't want to spend too much money, no? So that's why we understand that each client and each situation is unique. So that's why we try to offer a tailor-made solution according to each client. So we have a very close relation with the client, with a very high attention, because it's a human with an illusion and with like a project, and we love to help them. So that's why we like to offer in this webinar for free the tips that a potential client must know to be here in Spain, to invest, to work, to earn money, and enjoy our Mediterranean life.
Perfect. Do you operate across the whole of Spain?
Yes, we cover all the territory, and we have several clients that are buying houses in Marbella, in Costa Blanca, Valencia, Catalonia as well, Madrid,
Alicante, Orihuela.
Yes. Perfect. Great. Okay. Well, look, we've got a lot to whiz through. So let's talk about the legal way to buy a property and move to Spain. Let's start in terms of what is the process if you want to buy a property? What are the key things you have to consider in terms of getting the relevant numbers, paperwork, buying a property?
Well, for those people that don't know, Spanish government love administration, and administration means a lot of paperwork. But we know it perfectly. So let's try to say it simply. First of all, when someone wants to buy a property here in Spain, must have identification, an Spanish identification called NIE number, NIE. So with this NIE number, you can do notary things. Why notary things? Because are relevant for tax Spanish administration. So that's why that a lot of our clients give to us a power of attorney, and then we go to foreign office in order to obtain that NIE number. As soon as we obtain that NIE number, we go to a Spanish tax administration to obtain the model 030. What's the model 030? It's a formal presentation of a person before a Spanish tax agency. Why? To pay ITP or maybe VAT. But then we will talk about it later. Then, as soon as we get it, we check the reserve contract. What's a reserve contract? It's a little quantity that the client pays to the realtor just to reserve the property, and that property doesn't be shown to anyone. Between reserve contract and arras contract, we do that due diligence of the property just to check that it's okay. So as I mentioned before, the idea is to check the legal things, what it means, that the formal property, that if there are many kind of debts or many kind of areas that we need to check, or maybe any kind of legal problem that we need to solve before to do the purchase.
Like urbanistic issues, for example.
Yeah. Great.
So as soon as we close the due diligence, we check the arras contract. The arras contract is like the promise that the seller will sell and the buyer will buy. And it's necessary that pay the 10% of the value of the property. It's very important because in that point in arras contract, we fix the terms of the purchase. But it doesn't mean that it's exactly purchase. It's just a promise. It's very important to saying that, because there are some contract like a private purchase. No, it's not a private purchase. It's arras contract. It's a promise, not the purchase. So the idea is to complete the purchase. The client could be in Spain, and of course we go with him or her. But if the client doesn't want to take a lot of planes and spend money, for sure can give to us a power of attorney, and for sure we'll go to the notary and we sign in their name. And about what we check more, the post-purchase obligations. After the purchase, it's necessary that ITP or maybe VAT must be paid. And we be sure that it's done by, well, like a little office called gestoria, the accountant.
Yeah.
Or do by ourselves if there's not an accountant, and be sure that taxes are paid in 1 month, because it's the limit time, and that deed of the purchase, and in its case, the deed of the mortgage, are introduced before a Spanish land register. Because here in Spain, you only be an owner when you are before a Spanish land register.
Okay, great. A lot of information there. But to recap, for people who don't know, you're the lawyer, but you also you mentioned the notary or the notario, which is the person that does the legal process that works for the Spanish state. So you work alongside the notary, don't you, on the sale?
Yeah.
Yes. Firstly, what we wanted to say is that what our clients do normally is that they visit, a region, Spain, that interests them, and look for a property, or maybe they spend their vacations, and suddenly they call us and they say, oh, we are interested in buying this property because we found that our granddaughters would love it, or a family, they would love it. and then they pick the property, and then we start the process along with them. Or there's another process as well, which is people who are for circumstances they cannot come to Spain, but they are interested in a particular region or city, and they say, oh, okay, I would like to explore this area, and the properties are on sale. Could you please, I don't know, make a little bit research according to our preferences?
Yes.
So that's how the process normally begins. So when it comes to the notary, of course, when there's the IRS contract and we need to program the signing of the deed, then we start coordinating with the notary of the client's choice where the property is. So normally we go the day of the signing, but prior to the signing, we have made all the sending of documentation, we have read the draft of the deed, and so on. So that's how we coordinate these operations.
Brilliant. And you alluded to the fact of you sort out paying the tax, the stamp, the purchase tax, and of course that varies by different autonomous region of Spain, doesn't it? The taxes.
Yeah, because about these taxes, it's very important to say that there are two kinds of taxes. It could be VAT or ITP. VAT is 21%, and the only case that it's need to be paid, it's when it's new, it's a new building, and it's first purchase. So in its case, the client must pay tax, but sorry, it's not 21%, it's 10%, because it has a bonification, because it's a property. And in the case that is not the first purchase of that property, it's necessary ITP. So ITP is a region tax. So according to a region, you will pay 10% or maybe 6%. And it's like, okay, Mar and Belén, where is 10% and what is 6%? According to the regions that there are the operations of purchases, the idea is that in Catalonia it's 10%, in Valencia it's 10%, Andalusia it's 7%, and Madrid 6%. What it means, if you want to buy to invest, it's necessary to take. What about ITP? Because it's not the same. If you buy for 1 million, it's not the same to pay 10% in Catalonia, that's 6% in Madrid, for example. And it's necessary to be aware about bonifications, because, for example, if you buy in Catalonia and then you resell the property in 3 years, you can obtain a bonification of the 70% of ITP. What it means that, okay, in the first purchase you pay the 10%, but then in the second one, when you resell, you receive the 70% of that 10% that you paid before.
Okay.
And that's why there's a bonification. So that's why that when a client comes to us to invest, in a strict order to invest, we look very heavy about this kind of bonifications, because it can affect to the business plan and the numbers.
Oh.
So that's why we do a due diligence and a very heavy fiscal plan, like, okay, you can earn is that there are the provision of the market, there are the values and the prices. And at this point, taxes are very important, and according to the regions too. That's why there are regions that have more purchases than others. For example, now Madrid has a lot of purchases, and in Valencia too. And that's why, because the bonifications and the reduced taxes.
Okay. Great. So really, it's just important to know exactly what taxes and expenses you're going to be liable to before you start your process.
For sure.
Great. Okay. Well, let's talk about what are the options if I want to move to Spain after, as a British person now, assuming I haven't got a partner with a EU passport, which would make it a lot easier. But what are the options for me now?
And I could take a plane and enjoy.
Well, if you have a EU partner, then the process is different, because you can, in Spanish it's called regrupación,
Yeah,
So
regroupation. Like this point is like when you have a UA citizen partner, the idea is that you must to prove that you are partners. Why?
Yeah.
Well, it depends. If you are married, you need a certificate married that must be with a sworn translation and apostille too. And then we do a special process. And it's called, okay, there are marriage or maybe a formal couple. That's the point. If you're a formal couple, maybe you're a formal couple according to the UK laws, or maybe you must to do this before a notary here in Spain. It depends of the case of the client for sure. And as soon as we have these documents, we do, okay, please, for that excellent UK citizen, give a special permit because it's familiar from a UA citizen. So that's all. Yes, that's right that some of our clients have it, but a lot of our clients doesn't have a UA partner. So they take another ways to move here in Spain, because usually maybe or an investor, or maybe a couple that stop to work and want to join the life here in Spain.
So yes, I want to say that the first process is the easiest one and the shortest one. Then comes all the other part with visas. So we have several options. We have the working visa, we have the entrepreneur visa, the non-lucrative visa. The non-lucrative visa is for the matters that Mar was just saying. For example, people who want to retire, people who are no longer working or have savings in the UK and they just want to apply for this kind of visa. So, and especially this has to be applied in the UK. You cannot apply here in Spain. So then we have the investment visa, which is the so-called golden visa, and this visa, for instance, has this year, this last month, 2 months ago, we have this announcement from the government saying that they wanted to raise this visa for housing issues. Well, they made all this explanation. We don't know yet when this is going to be eradicated, but for now it's still a possible process. And finally, and I think it's the most popular now for these days, is the digital nomad visa for those people who want to work remotely in Spain.
Sure. Yeah. For Place in the Sun viewers, the non-lucrative visa and the digital nomad visa are the two most popular options. So would you be able to explain a bit more about those two particularly?
Golden visa and digital nomad?
And non-lucrative.
Oh, non-lucrative. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, so as I said, that you should start by applying in the UK, in the consular office or the ambassade, and the person who wants to apply for this visa needs firstly to show his financial means, or perhaps this person has some company that is giving back some money. So the important thing is that to let people know that this kind of visa doesn't allow to work.
Yeah,
that's the important thing. That's important. That's the key of this kind of visa.
Yeah, and the other key is very important to know that we need to prove that that person has earned money before, that can live without work.
Yes, sure. Yeah, as you say, it's financial resources you need to prove, and you're not allowed to work. And also,
and sometimes it's needed a declaration before a notary in the UK, like a special act. Like, okay, imagine me, Robert Smith, I declare before the notary, I have a lot of money, thanks for my work, and I can live by myself and not be poor in Spain. That's
exactly. Yes. You're not going to be a burden on the Spanish state.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because you know that here in Spain, we enjoy a very good public system about health. And that's why Spanish government say, okay, come here, but
Come
with
here.
come here, but with some money, please, because it's not possible to attend all the people in the public system.
Yeah, sure. So you get this fee. It's my understanding you get this visa for 1 year and then you renew it for 2 years. Is that correct?
Is that correct? You can renew it, and then you can renew it for 2 years more, and then you have 5 years. And what happens with the 5 years? Because in Spain we love 5 years and 10 years. Why? Because when you have 5 years, you can take the permanent residence. And when you take the permanent residence, it takes for, well, of course, permanent, as the name said. And when you take 10 years in Spain, you can apply for a Spanish passport. It's not a mandatory for sure, but if you want. So yeah, it's with non-lucrative for sure. As you said, Liz, of course, 1 year renew for until 3, and then 2 years more until have 5.
Perfect. And I think people are always interested in what the financial resources are. It's my understanding that it's roughly 28,000 euros per person, or 30 something for a couple. Is that correct?
Yeah, is that right? But it depends, because it is a variation according to IPC annual. What it means, of course, the cost of life is increasing every year. Well,
yeah,
it's very heavy, like COVID. Well,
inflation.
Usually, yeah, thank you. So that's the point. So every year the cost of life increase. So that's why we need to check every January about the 10%, because it's not the same. Like, well, I'm not an exactly quantity. Always it's per reference. I mean, it's like, okay, for this must be the 100% of IPREM. So because here in Spain we have 2 different reference, IPREM and SMI. What it means?
Minimum
IPREM,
wage.
Yeah. So that's why we need to pay attention about what's the reference and the 10%. Because, for example, in digital nomad visa, sometimes it's asked to have some money in the bank account that we need to prove, and it's not the same that money that must to be proved if you ask for a worker digital nomad that an autonomous, an entrepreneur digital nomad visa. Because in one case you must to check the IPREM reference, and the other one the SMI reference with different 10%. So that's why that, of course, it's necessary. About again non-lucrative visa, it's very necessary to check the new requirements year per year. And another thing, as Belén said, about non-lucrative visa, it must be introduced before consulate or embassy in Spain, London. And the thing is that we need to attend the special requirements, because the requirements of each Spanish embassy or consulate are not the same.
Yeah. The key is to speak to you experts and get your advice, because you can deal with these applications all the time and you're aware of the changing regulations. So could you just briefly talk about the digital nomad visa, because I believe you can apply for that from the UK or Spain, but it's better to apply to Spain.
Exactly. So what we recommend to our clients who are interested in this kind of visa is, firstly, if they want to apply for this visa from Spain, we really tell them that please have all this paperwork prepared, or at least more or less, because you only have 60 days from the entry in Spain to apply for this visa. Okay. Then, of course, we have some other days to correct, because there's this ongoing communication between the administration and us. So so we can correct for in a period we can correct this documentation. But so what we ask for firstly is the working agreements with the company, and a letter of the company that allows this person working remotely from Spain. This is very important, because and to have all this documentation very clear, and also translate it to Spanish, because the administration doesn't want to make the functions of a translator. So it has to be very clear in an unofficial way and, in a formal way. Let's
yeah, because it's true that all we can speak English and we understand English for sure, but it's like, okay, I'm a Spanish administration, so please, I want all it in Spanish.
Yeah,
exactly.
sure.
And last thing I want to say about the digital nomad visa is that you have to subscribe a private health insurance in Spain. Well, there are other ways. For example, if the company has a company in Spain and you can work from this company, normally you get subscribed to the public health insurance. But there's some, it's so casuistical that you have to talk very to the client, and the client has to explain all personal situations. So it really depends on the case.
Great, yeah. And the digital nomad visa, as you say, has been very popular. And there's also the route of if you work for a company that agrees, as you say, Belén, but there's also, if you're self-employed, you can also move. There's another route that you can move to Spain on the digital nomad visa. And if you own your own company, that works, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah,
Yes.
and I would like to advise that the tax is different. It's different because when you are a worker, you will perceive your salary according to Spanish labor laws. So we enjoy here a thing called IRPF, that is the annual tax that all persons must pay. What happens? Here in Spain, the salaries are not too high. So we see that when a lot of our clients, our British clients, come here with a salary like 10,000 euros per month, when we do like a study, like, okay, you must pay this in taxes. They said, oh my God, too high.
They freak out.
Yeah. And then when like we say, okay, welcome to Spain, because you need to pay the sun, right? And that's why we always say to our clients that if it's a solution to stay with a company, to be autonomous and change the relation, not an employee, to change to autonomous. Why? Because if they are autonomous, they can apply to become law. That it's very important. This. What's become law? Become law, it's like, okay, if you come here and you're autonomous and your company destiny is here and you have all the requirements and conditions, the maximum that you will pay for IRPF is 24%. And all of it. Why? Because without it, maybe the client must pay 40, 47, 51, and well, too high, no? So you don't work to pay the middle of your ends to the government. So that's why Spanish government say, okay, for autonomous people, we want autonomous. Why? Because in this case, the client must to be official autonomous in Spain and must pay 80 euros per month during 2 years. And then according to the earnings and gains, could be 300 euros per month. And well, of course, it's okay for Spanish government, but say, okay, would want like to pressure too much about taxes issues, so that's why they approve the Beckham law, and they fix 24% on IRPF for autonomous.
Yeah, to summarize, it's if you have the digital nomad visa, you can apply for this expat regime known as Beckham's law, which has these beneficial tax rates. Okay, so people can talk to you about that. So let's talk about tax in a bit more detail. When you automatically become tax resident in Spain if you spend 183 days there. Yeah,
that is that you become an Spanish tax resident when you spend more than 183 natural days here in Spain. So half year and 3 days more. So what happened here, if according of the kind of visa that you enjoy, you must spend these days here in Spain. For example, if we ask for a non-lucrative or maybe entrepreneur visa or maybe a digital nomad visa, we need to spend these 183 days in Spain to renew, this kind of visa, because we need to prove, yes. So what it means, when you enjoy that kind of visas, you become logically a Spanish tax resident, except with golden visa. So that's why the Spanish government won't delay it. Because when you have a golden visa, you can enjoy a Spanish residence permit without the mandatory to spend 183 days per year. So what it means to become a Spanish tax resident, as we were saying, pay per year IRPF, and pay, if you work for a company, pay a party called public system security social. And at the moment no, it depends then if you do business or not, you're in a company or not. So we need to see it. If, for example, if a client have a company, like, okay, if I'm autonomous and I became a Spanish tax resident and I need to pay too much IRPF, maybe I want to do the incorporation of the company. Why? Because companies enjoy only 15% of companies' tax in the first 2 years, and then the companies pay 25%. So if I'm autonomous, and maybe as an autonomous without the application of Beckham law, imagine that we don't apply because we don't have all the requirements. So I'm a simple autonomous, and I need to pay in IRPF 47%. Of course, I will do a company. Of course, the company will pay that first 15% for the first 2 years, and then 25%. And me as an autonomous has a little earns for paying less. Sorry. And it's what happens here briefly.
Okay, if I'm a retired person in Spain, I'm on a non-lucrative visa, I will. Are there any things I need to be aware of? I will need to pay income tax, won't I?
Yeah, it depends. It depends about the money that you receive in Spain. Well, it's true that you need to declare in Spain all the goods that you have outside.
Yeah.
But imagine that you retire with, just an example, for 1,200 per month you receive for maybe, well, for a wagon product or maybe for the government. Of course, you need to declare IRPF, but it's too low that, of course, you don't pay anything. And the Spanish government gives you money to compensate. But if you enjoy like 5,000 euros per month, you need to pay IRPF, but less than an autonomous or an employee. So it depends the year of the client and the origin of the money, and the years that are in Spain, and if has the children here, maybe sons, kids.
Like dependent people.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, again, it's a question of asking your expert advice on this, isn't it? Of what their tax liabilities will be. Okay. Was there anything else on tax that you wanted to mention before we move on to some key quick fire things just to finish up on?
Well, just to include something, if a client want to do incorporation of a company, it's necessary that he is a sole director. And sole director means someone that must be autonomous here in Spain. It's not necessary that the client be the sole director. So this sole director could be anyone and contract him to be the sole director, and the sole director pays, well, you can arrange it, but pays all the taxes to be autonomous in Spain. So if the question is, if I want to do a company in Spain, it's necessary that I be the sole director and pay the taxes to be the sole director? The answer is no.
Okay, so yeah, think about that consideration if you are going that route. Okay, Okay, so we're running out of time. There's such a lot of useful information to cover. What are the, if you can just flag up some important things to consider before we finish?
Well, we can speak about the warning about golden visa.
Yes.
But it was surprising. You must think, Elizabeth, that when we heard to Pedro Sanchez, let's delete golden visa, all the colleagues, what happened? What?
Yes. So now our clients are like in a rush.
Yeah. And we are running.
And we are running
in the rush.
Yes. So yeah. So the process is still on, and yeah. So we are doing it.
Yeah, because the project of the modification of the law entered before the Congress, the Spanish Congress, on 24th of May of this year. So according to the Congress terms and according to the procedure of the modification of the law, maybe we think that maybe, because you never know, never for sure, that we maybe know the end of, well, the result of all this in October. So please, this is a call. British citizen that you want to enjoy golden visa, run.
Don't rush, run and get on with your purchase. Yes.
Yeah, because we don't know what will happen, and maybe we have an answer in October. So it's now or never. You never know. So, okay, and let's think in. Okay, what happens if finally golden visa is delayed? Well, we think that the successful visa will be digital nomad visa. And why? Because thinking about how things the Spanish government, we said, the joke is the following. If you get the golden visa, you don't need to spend 183 days here in Spain. You don't become a Spanish resident tax, right? Mm-hmm. But what happens with digital nomad visa? That you need to spend to renew it. 183 days. So that's why we say, we think that the Spanish government want to do this movement just to be sure that people are enjoying the Spanish climate for a lifestyle, but paying taxes. That's all. But another question. Okay, Mara and Belén, for your experience, do you think that maybe the golden visa can return? Okay, we think yes, with another kind of government. And maybe not exactly with
the same conditions.
But we think that, okay, now for golden visa, you only need to spend 500,000. And for example, in Barcelona or Madrid, it's very easy to buy a property for 500,000. So we think that maybe what's best intelligent is to revalue the requirements to obtain golden visa. But we need another kind of government and that organize it. But well, we don't know nothing, so we call again to apply.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, and briefly, where you have to think about where to invest as well, don't you? A few pointers on that.
Yeah, it depends. It depends if you want to do flipping. Flipping is you buy an old apartment, you renovate it, and then you resell, or maybe you buy an apartment to rent it. If you want to rent, besides, and 10%, region called Lleida, it's in Catalonia, you can take 8%. Murcia is like between Andalusia and Valencia, you can take 80% of the earns. Huelva, it's in Andalusia, 7.9%. Teruel, you can take 7.3%. And then, Jaén, Almería, Castelló, Valencia could be between 7 or 7.2. Okay, this is for if you want to buy and rent, and of course we can obtain a licensed tourist. This is very important. We can offer this service too. Like, okay, I want to buy and rent immediately. Yes, for sure, we offer this service. And if you want to do flipping, buy an old apartment, renovate it, and resell. For sure, the biggest cities still be the kings and the queens, like Madrid, Barcelona, Costa del Sol, Valencia, and Costa Blanca. Costa Blanca is the coast of Valencia and part of Andalusia, and Costa Brava. Costa Brava is the special coast that we have in Catalonia between Spain and France. and it's just still okay. But according to Costa Brava, must be in interior zones, not in the first line of sea. And that's our tips.
Okay, great. Well, people can talk to you more about advice on those.
Yeah, because it's very
and there are regulations on short-term rentals in lots of regions that are changing even this week, I gather, from certain parts of Spain.
Yeah, but we need to take another webinar for it, and we don't have time.
Yeah, it's changing all the time. That's the key.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's changing all the time because it's local regulations, so it's very easy. The procedure, so it's very easy. Like, okay, I change it, but well, finally, it's like it must be regional. Like when you know that a region it's popular, you can smell that the law will change. So that's why we search for non very heavy popular at this point.
Okay.
Because we can be sure about the law will be permanent.
Yes.
The south of Catalonia is getting now popular because it's not as popular as the north, the Costa Brava, or down the shore of Barcelona. But the south of Catalonia and the north of Valencia is also a nice region to invest or look for a property for second residence. It's a nice area.
Yeah, it's been popular with some of the Place in the Sun viewers. So to finish up, we've kind of whizzed on taxes, but I mean, I think anything else you want to cover up in terms of we talked about Beckham law.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking that we speak all about taxes during this webinar, but briefly, and you must pay ITP if it's not the first purchase of the property. You must pay VAT 10% if it's the first one. ITP, remember, it's according to regions because it's a regional tax. About Beckham law, you can only apply if you are autonomous and you apply for digital nomad visa, and you put the stop on 24% instead of maybe 47 or 51% of your earns and benefits. And remember that if you don't want to become a Spanish tax resident, you don't need to spend more than 183 days.
Okay. So if anyone wants to come to Spain, they need to think about, what sort of visa, they need to think about the tax implications of the visa. And, but, you're here to help, basically. So if people want to find out more after listening, how do they get in contact with you?
Oh, we can contact using our form web, or maybe can write to us in info.pomerol.com. No,
yep.
That is in Spain. Direct things, sorry. And or maybe writing in our mobile phone that it's +34 because it's a prefix, a Spanish prefix, 682 67 51. Oh my God! The problem is that
we'll put the details.
In Catalan.
We'll put the details with this webinar so people can contact you. But if they want to get your advice, they could do a Zoom interview or a telephone call, essentially.
Yeah, the thing is, they contact us, and we offer a first session for free, just for information.
Brilliant.
And for sure, because we love our job and we love our country, and we like to share our country with
people's projects.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I personally love people's projects, so yeah, that's what we mainly do here.
Brilliant. It comes across that you have a very personalized approach, so that's what people are keen to have. So I think that's probably it. Thank you so much for all that advice, and people can get in touch with you and get some help with working or living or buying a property in Spain. Thank you very much, Mar and Belén.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
thank you.
We
have enjoyed it.
Bye.
Bye.